Hi, good morning. Uh, absolutely a brand new day. Uh, we are live once again. Same place, same calm. So, if you're new here, then this is a space to think clearly, right, and build slowly. So that's what we are going to do. Something interesting. Most people don't fail because of problems. They they fail because of how they react to problems, right? I'll let that sink in a little bit while I fetch myself the tea. So like I said, it's a beautiful morning here in Delhi NCR, right? And most people, we were talking, most people don't fail because of problems, right? they It's the way how you react to the problem. That's what the problem is, right? uh, so you have to be very cognizant of how you are responding to a set of problem, right, that you are going through or that you're facing, right, that is in front of you. So when you see a problem, reaction is generally very fast. Observation is very slow. We react even before thinking, right? And we fail to observe because reaction feels productive, right? So I have to react to this, otherwise it's going to be too late, right? And that is something which we all of us are guilty of doing, right? But observations generally feel uncomfortable. That's why the reaction comes first, right? So every time we come across a problem per se, we tend to react first and observe very slowly, observe later, right? And most bad decisions happen in the first I would say first 5 minutes, and the first 5 minutes are the most emotional 5 minutes, right? Because you see a problem, you have to react, right? And you end up reacting without understanding the root cause of the problem, or without even having the problem to be sinking down, so that you can have a very natural and a neutral reaction to it. You just end up uh, taking that reactive mode and turning that into a bad decision, right? That's what happens. And uh, and most of us are guilty of doing that, right? By the way, if you are just joining in, tuning in to the live stream, we are talking about reacting versus observing, right, today. And it is a beautiful day, right? And uh, there are a couple of things I want to talk about, because this is something which I have also been doing very very often, right? This is something that I have been guilty of doing as well. Uh, I would like to talk about ego. I would like to talk about fear, comparisons, urgency, illusions. So overreacting usually comes from insecurities, right? So when we overreact, is potentially we overreact when we feel behind, right? When we feel that nothing is working out, and probably we are lagging in some area of life, or other people are getting ahead of us, and they put in little effort, and we do so much and we still get left behind. So the brain wants to fix, right, discomfort immediately, right? That's what happens with me as well. You don't, by the way, you don't need to fix everything, right? And you especially don't need to fix everything before breakfast, right? You need to give your mind some time to think about a problem, right? Observe the problem, what exactly is the root cause of this, and then possibly go into a reactive mode where you start behaving or reacting in a particular manner, right? Hmm. No, maybe I've left him a text. So he didn't answer my call, so I didn't get a chance to speak to him. कोई नहीं, वो गाड़ी चला रहा होता है. Normally he's driving at this point of time. So, so what happens basically? We all of us, every time we come across a problem, right? We immediately tend to react, right? In order to solve that problem, and like I was saying, you don't have to fix everything immediately, right? You have to work things through. You have to understand. You have to observe, right? And then come out with possible solutions, possible reactions, right? And most things don't need reaction. They need reflection, right? And generally, waiting is underrated, right? Silence is underrated. Most strong people, they are patient people, right? They observe, they don't react, they don't give into situations or problem areas. And let me ask you a question, right? So when was the last time waiting saved you from a bad decision? Mostly I feel creators, right, uh, overreact to one low video. Like I also do that, right? And guilty as charged, right? Entrepreneurs overreact to one bad month, right? One data point is not a trend, right? One video with low views or low likes is not a trend, right? I I will repeat myself, right? So one data point is not a trend. You do not have to take it into consideration where you feel that this is how it's going to be. That's the wrong way of reacting, right? By the way, if you are new here, we are just unpacking why reacting quickly costs more than it would help, right? And give me 1 second. I'm getting a call. 1 second. Hey Alia, good morning. How are you? बताइए बताइए प्लीज. यार ऑफिस तो नहीं गया था मैं, गुड़गांव जरूर गया था फॉर 2 मीटिंग्स. आई थिंक दैट वाज इन जनवरी, आई थिंक सो. हाँ तो यही होगा ना ये. दो ऑफिसेज में गया था, एक मोड टास्क था, एक अफोर्ड प्लान था गुड़गांव के. इमरान से. इमरान और सुमित द फाउंडर. इमरान वाज द सीईओ. इंक्वायरी आई है उनकी कोई? अच्छा. वो वेरी कूल. हाँ मतलब I also didn't like the culture. वो जो founder था ना बड़ा annoying सा था. He was pretty much snobbish, show off कर रहा था अपनी Range Rovers और पता नहीं किस किस की बातें कर रहा था उस दिन. और जब जब पैसे की बात आई तो उसकी फटके हाथ में आ गई and then he never got back to me. अब 2 हफ्ते से chase कर रहा हूँ मैं उसे. ऐसे याद नहीं है मेरे को. दो लोगों का नाम तो पर्टिकुलरली याद है. इमरान इज अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन और सुमित से तो मैं पहली बार मिला था. हाँ हाँ ठीक है. एक ये होगा और एक अफोर्ड प्लान भी है यार. ये दो होंगे. इनको कर दे यार प्लीज अप्रूव. राइट. थैंक्स अ लॉट. टेक केयर. बाय बाय. So that was my colleague from the office, right? And in January, I had gone to meet a few of my clients in Gurgaon, and good meetings overall, I would say. But the point of contacts from these companies were not very welcoming, right? But yes. Hello. How are you? You put lipstick. Really? What is this? No, baby, you're gonna color the entire house. Don't take this, na, please. No, Badmash. Go watch your iPad or something. Yes. Ah, you can take this. Go. Why aren't you wearing your socks? Where are your socks? Where are your Crocs? You're not wearing slippers, chappals, nothing. Very good. So that's my daughter, 2-year-old daughter Angelica, right next to me. Uh, let me switch my screen so that we can start writing names of everybody who joins in, right? And so we were talking about reacting versus observing, right? And majority of us generally react to things when they don't work out in a way, or when we come across a problem in general, right? We all of us are very quick at our responses, right? And we fail to observe, understand, and we feel that whatever has happened is becoming a trend, especially for entrepreneurs, or especially for, let's say, content creators, right? Like for myself as well. And this is how I generally feel as well, that it has gone through, right? And I'm guilty as charged. So reaction always comes first, right? We end up reacting way before we understand something deeply, right? The root cause of a problem, right? We don't analyze, don't we just end up reacting, right? Because reacting feels productive, right? That, oh, this is the problem and this is how it needs to be tackled and this is how I'm gonna react, because observation feels very uncomfortable, right? Most bad decisions happen in the first emotional 5 minutes when you come across a problem. And if you react to problems quickly, you will end up taking or making bad decisions, right? That's what happens. And I've seen this happening with myself as well, right? Every time I came across a problem, I ended up reacting rather quickly, and that actually did more bad than any good, right? So, by the way, if you're just joining in, we are talking about reacting versus observing, and feel free to stick around, drop in your name, just say hi, because overreacting usually comes from insecurities, right? And we overreact when we feel behind. The brain wants to fix that discomfort immediately. We Every time I'm in some sort of a discomfort, or I'm not feeling good about something, I generally want to fix it immediately, and that's exactly what not should be. Yes, darling. Mm. Yes, darling. What happened? Oh no! Why are you hitting me? What did I do? So, you know, most strong people who are generally very strong in their minds, right? They generally take their own time, and they don't react instantly, spontaneously, without giving it much thought, right? They evaluate their options, they evaluate the root cause, the data sets, and that's when they react. So observing is always better than an immediate response system, right? There's a fight or flight response that is with all of us humans, right? And we generally tend to uh, respond to things either in a way where we are aggressive, or we move out of an uncomfortable situation rather quickly, right? So either we fight it or we fly away from it, right? So that's what happens. By the way, it's a beautiful morning here in Delhi NCR today. Super relaxed, super chill. And when I was driving back home from my daughter's school in the morning, uh, so in the middle of rush hour traffic, right? There was a guy behind me in a bike, right? And we were going through a narrow lane, and I braked, right? I guess he was too late on his braking, and he immediately bumped into the right side bumper of my car, the guard, right? And that got a little dented, right? One of the mud flaps got broken, right? It was hanging and it was rubbing against the back wheel, and there was some noise that started coming from the back, right? So I gently pulled over the car. I got out of the car. The biker had already stopped behind me as well. Gotten off his bike, and I looked at the damage, and I walked up to him and I asked him, "Dude, were you not looking? Do you do you know you've unnecessarily caused problem to the both of us in terms of, especially in terms of wastage of time, right? Because you and me both are on our way to work, right? Going to our respective offices, and you just banged into my car, and now it's gonna be a couple of minutes or hours wasted, right? And at that point of time, I went into the observation phase more than a reactive phase, and I think I did the right thing. The damage wasn't so much that I couldn't afford, right? I did ask the guy if he had insurance, and he said he does not, right? And that got me thinking that he might himself be going through a lot of trouble, right? If you can't afford insurance for yourself, imagine financially how much strained you must be, right? How much tight you must be, right? Limited finances. So I did not create a scene over there, and I was very patient and very careful about my choice of words this morning. And I'm surprised at myself because I'm usually somebody, if somebody hits my or bangs my car, I'm super pissed. I get aggressive, right? Very quickly. But I did not let that happen today. Maybe it was I was in a good mood, and maybe I observed the situation more, right, carefully. Because if I would not have been careful, and if I would have been very reactive, then things would have turned south, right? And that's one of the reasons why we have this topic of conversation today, reacting versus observing. And with my prior earlier experience today, I'm glad to say that I, at least for today, this time I wasn't very reactive. I was completely observing and taking my decisions very calmly. So I looked at the damage. It wasn't something that I couldn't cover with my insurance or something. So I just asked that guy to drive carefully and be safe, right? And be more careful the next time, right? Because he might end up hurting somebody, and he might end up hurting himself as well, right? Which could be a bigger problem than just bumping cars, right? And he went on his way. I went on my way. I called up my service center guy. I told him what the damage on my car was, and very calmly I handled today's situation, right? So I'm quite impressed by my own sense of patience and observation. Kakakshi, very good morning. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining. So we are talking about reacting versus observing today, and I was in a little bit of a scuffle today. I was in a very small sort of a car accident where somebody banged my car from the behind, right? Damaged my back bumper, back guard, and the mud flap also broke, which started rubbing against my rear wheel tire, and it was creating a very weird sound. But surprisingly, today I wasn't pissed, right? I don't know why. For a change, I wasn't pissed, I wasn't angry, and I was very careful in my reactions or actions, whatever I was about to do. So, very calmly, I handled this situation. I said bye to this guy, and we moved. We went on our own separate ways. But yes, sometimes when you are in a problem, right, you need to go ahead and observe things first before you throw in your reactions, right? Before you start reacting. Kakshi, I am free per se. Why do you ask? So that's what I wanted to do, right? So YouTube is a form of expression for me, right? And this is where I get to share a lot of my personal thoughts, right? And even if even if nobody is live with me right now, right? This part for me it still matters, right? Because sometimes the most important conversations they happen quietly, right? And that's the reason today I particularly want to talk about something very simple yet very moving, right? and and why most people overreact instead of observing, right? And I'm not saying that this I'm not saying all of this as criticism at any given point in time. I'm saying this because I've done it personally myself, right? And I'm sure you guys have done it too, right? Everyone has, because we all are human beings. All of us are human beings, and we tend to react before we observe situations, observe the problems. And I'm saying this because I've done it myself, right? And overreaction is a very human response, right? And observation generally is a discipline that you need to create, right? And there's a difference, right? Most problems in life are not destroyed by difficulty, right? Kakakshi, why do you ask, am I free or not? I'm live streaming, so I won't say I'm 100% free, but I'm free. Would Is there something you would like me to help you with, Kakakshi? So, like I was saying, right? Many of us, most problems in life, right? They're not destroyed by difficulty, right? Because all of us think differently. We have different patterns, right? And usually what we end up doing is is when we come across a problem, we generally tend to be very quick in our response system, right? We tend to respond very quickly, and that's something that we all of us should avoid, right? Because quick decisions, quick actions, quick responses don't usually always work in your favor. They end up disrupting a lot of things, right? And you need to be a little cognizant of that fact as well, right? Kakakshi, I'm not free, right? If you want me, you got to pay me a lot of money, so I'm not free, right? But what do you want? Say in the comment section. Stop asking me questions, my dear. Tell me why are you asking me if I'm free? What do you need? Probably then I will be able to answer correctly, right? So what do you want? Tell me, Kakakshi. So so what happens is basically this, right? So when we overreact, right? When things are not usually going our way, we tend to uh, be pushy, be very reactive in terms of taking a decision rather quickly, right? And that is something which can negatively impact our behavior, I responses. I just want someone to review my channel. Yeah, I understand that. I would love to review your channel, but not right now. In the next stream, probably in the evening. Let's see if I'm live. Uh, I I would love to review your channel, right, and share my honest feedback with you, Kakakshi. You'll have to bear with me. Today is not a channel review day. Today is about uh, conversations, right? So that's what we will do. But yes, absolutely, I will definitely review your channel and share my feedback with you, honestly, about your channel and what needs to change and what needs to improve, right? So don't worry about that. So there's a lot of difference in overreacting and observation. Overreacting is a very human response, right? Observation is a discipline that you need to build. And most problems in life are not destroyed by difficulty, right? They're destroyed by reaction. Sometimes what happens is, for me, if I just take my example, okay, my views generally drop, right? My likes don't come, my videos don't perform, someone says something, right? My plans change, right? Unexpected situations happen, and within seconds, what happens is the brain wants to fix it, okay? And this happened with me yesterday as well. The mind hates uncertainty, right? It basically chooses action. It chooses to respond rather quickly, even if the action might be wrong or might not be 100% in your favor. But the brain wants to immediately react, take an action, right? And react because reaction feels very powerful when something goes wrong, when you're in a difficult situation, when the life puts you in a problem area. In Reacting is an obvious choice, right? Because reacting to a certain set of problem is powerful. Observation, observing, waiting, watching, all of this feels very weak. But here's the truth, right? And listen to this very carefully. Reaction is the emotional speed, right? Observation is strategic strength. Did you understand that? Reacting to somebody is emotional, or something. Reacting to something could be emotional, right? But observing is the strategic strength. So I am personally trying to build that strength of observing. Most bad decisions happen in the first 5 emotional minutes. When you come across a problem, you immediately want to resolve that problem. You jump onto decisions, you jump onto conclusions, and you are taking those decisions in an emotional state of mind, not after reflection, not after sleep, or not after gaining some sort of any sort of perspective, right? In the first 5 minutes, your ego starts speaking to you, right? And your fear is speaking to you. So all of this is happening, and comparisons speak to you, right? So because of all of this, generally what happens is we end up reacting rather quickly, right? And we listen to all of this, right? So let me slow this down for you. When something uncomfortable happens, right, and the body reacts before the brain understands, right? Our heart rate shifts, right? Our breathing pattern changes, our thoughts, our mind, everything is getting accelerated, right? And we think, I must fix this immediately, I must resolve this immediately, because but but what if fixing isn't required, isn't really the optimal solution for this? What if observing is required? What if watching, understanding, gaining a perspective is required? There's a massive difference between both of these, huh? So I need to do something right now and let me understand what just happened. These are very two different state of minds, right? Because observation is something that requires a lot of patience, right? Observing, understanding, patiently waiting requires a lot of patience, right? And patience can feel like a weakness, and most of us humans don't want to feel weak, right? Especially in front of others, right? But if you allow me to be honest with you, I think patience is actually power, right? That is the most powerful thing that you can gain, right? And let me say this very clearly, right? One data point is not a trend. One low view count is not a failure. One quiet day is not a collapse, right? One comment, one view is not the truth. It's not your identity. One mistake does not make you make you a criminal, right? But when we overreact on things, when we generally tend to be uh, overreactive, and we treat one moment like permanent reality, that's when the problem starts, right? That creates chaos, right? And if you just zoom out a little bit, if you relax and understand, most emotional reactions, they look unnecessary completely, right? And we react quickly, and when you react quickly, you will regret a lot of things. We regret what we say in anger, we regret what we decide in a panic mode, right? We regret what we assume in insecurities, right? Look, take this. But very rarely do we regret waiting, right? Waiting is underrated, right? Silence is underrated. uh, and most strong people are just patient people. Give me one second, one second. Most strong people, right, they are just patient people. They don't react slower because they are lazy. They react slower because they understand consequences. Let me repeat myself, right? Strong people react slower because they understand the consequences. They evaluate patiently with discipline, right? And if you just think about it, right, maybe maybe you didn't send that message, maybe you didn't quit, maybe you didn't argue with somebody, maybe you didn't pivot from your goals, and because you waited, you saw clearly, you found clarity, right? Because distance creates clarity. You If you overreact, right, immediately over problems that you're facing, overreaction sparks distortion, right? And in business, overreacting is inconsistency. It's overreacting would kill your momentum. It will kill your consistent performance, right? And entrepreneurs quit after one bad month, right? Entrepreneurs, uh, they look at data trends, data points, and they feel that this is not working out, and they end up quitting, right? Creators panic after one low video, right? And I've done that, I felt that, right, as well. If my videos are not performing right, I generally tend to want to give up, right? And in same goes for, let's say, somebody who's an investor sells their stock, right, after one drop, right? If something is not helping them gain, then they immediately drop out of that particular stock, right? So But stable people understand something which is very simple, right? Noise of this sort is just temporary, right? It's just noise. Reaction can be permanent. So you need to be very careful when it comes to reacting in a particular manner, because reactions, your words, once spoken, once done, they cannot come back, right? If you react emotionally, you make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings, right? And that can be potentially very dangerous, right? The most, I feel the most dangerous decision is the emotional one, because that it's not you, it's your ego, right? That is taking that decision. So let's just talk about ego for a moment, right? So overreacting often comes from insecurity, like I said. When we feel we are left behind, when we feel we are not moving like other people, we are not growing like other people, we are not earning as much as other people, we don't have as many followers as other people, we generally react. We feel ignored, we react. We feel small, we end up reacting in a particular manner. And reaction is protection, but observation is maturity. You know what I mean? Maturity says, I don't need to decide right now. I do not. And that's actually very powerful. I'll actually give you a simple framework that I personally designed for myself. I call it the 24-hour rule, right? And in that 24-hour rule, if something triggers you, wait for 24 hours before making a major decision. Okay? If it still makes sense tomorrow, by all means, go ahead, act, react, right? But if it doesn't, you just saved yourself from a lifetime of bad decision, bad choices, right? Because emotional states, emotional intensity fades with time, right? And clarity takes over, clarity grows. Most people don't lack intelligence, right? All of us do not generally lack intelligence, right? What we lack is a moment to pause. We are always jumping the gun. We are not waiting, we are not relaxing, observing, and we're just jumping from one reaction to the other, taking decisions without clarity, without patiently thinking about the outcomes or the consequences, and that ends differently than what we expect, right? If you just pause for a while, like I said, the 24-hour rule, right? Pause, because pausing is leverage, right? Stability beats intensity all the way. You most certainly do not need to move fast. You need to move correctly. Okay? All of us know uh, the nursery rhyme that is being taught when we are kids, about the rabbit and the turtle, right? So you do not need to move fast. You need to move correctly. And if nobody is here in this live right now, and that's absolutely fine. I Because I'm more content in moving slowly than ruining everything by moving fast. Because this conversation still matters, right? At least to me, right? The reaction would say something is wrong, right? let's fix this, let's close the stream and restart this live stream and do it once again, or maybe not do it at all. That's reacting fast. Something is wrong and I gotta fix it, right? But observation on the other hand says, let's continue, let's keep going. And that difference is everything, right? Let me let me say this very slowly, so that all of us all of you guys can relate to it, right? You do not build strength by reacting well when things are perfect. You build strength by remaining steady when things are quiet. Most problems don't need speed, they need space. Okay? And when you create space, right, you create clarity around you. And when you create clarity, you make better decisions. What is this? It's nothing. Okay, good. Keep it here. Keep it here. That's my 2-year-old daughter. Surprisingly, she's woken up early today, right? And there's nothing much we can do about this. So, yeah, what I would like you to do today, right? Instead of asking, how do I fix everything right now, ask, what if this movement, what is this movement trying to show me, right? You need to observe and then decide the right next move. It should not be the other way around, right? Keep going slowly. Don't rush, right? If silence appears, it's fine. Let it sit. I've got nobody watching me right now. Zero people on my live right now. But I don't think it's bothering me anymore. So you need to sit completely calm. Create space. If there is silence, let it be. It's fine. You're not performing, right? You are practicing stability. And that's what is more important, right? So that's what it is, guys. And I think all of us can gain a lot by controlling our reaction time, right? So when you come across a problem, when you face any difficulties, hold yourself back, relax, think. And if it is a life changing decision you need to take, so what university I should be going with, what kind of work I should be doing, what job I should be looking for, should I get married to this person, should I fall in love with this person, don't don't jump onto conclusions, don't take immediate actions, right? Give it time to settle down, observe, wait, talk to yourself in your mind, right? And that's when the clarity will start appearing, and that's when you start taking the right decisions. I am facing I'm facing some sort of internet issues right now. I'm not sure if you guys are able to hear me. So I might get disconnected. In case I do get disconnected, feel free to join back, right? And I'll be live for another half an hour, right? 30 more minutes. So feel free, just in case this live stream gets disconnected, right?